This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Talk to me about drinking. We got lots of questions about he's a legendary drinker, blah, blah, blah. Was there anyone that you ever worked with in the wrestling business who could come close?
Phew, no. Like, not even close.
More than Undertaker, more than Flair, more than Harley.
Yeah.
More than Hogan, more than Cena.
Yep. Not even close.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, again, it was, I remember Harley sitting there with him and drinking beers and shit. And Andre would drink 2 to his 1.
Did you ever meet Andre's daughter?
I did not. Never knew her, never met her. Didn't know about her until much, much, much later. Yeah.
Luke wants to know any memories of Andre being arrested in Cedar Rapids. The local paper wrote an editorial on it. Being from here, it was always a cool story to tell. What was Vince's reaction?
Not much. I mean, it was, look, if Andre wanted to be uncooperative and shit, it could have been a much bigger story, but it was, it was the grumpy years. And I think that was during the time that Andre really didn't care. And the last few years of his life, and I'm going to go on and probably say the last 4 or 5 years of his life, I think that Andre's pain tolerance was lessening and that Andre was in an awful lot of pain and just kind of said, fuck it. You know how I get sometimes, Conrad?
Yes.
Where I'm just at the end.
Yep.
And I say, fuck it.
Yep.
That's how Andre was for about 5 years. Is that your dogs or my dogs?
Those are your dogs. Robert wants to know, did you ever take Andre out on the town when he came to Houston? And if so, where was his favorite spot to go?
Andre, when he used to come to Houston back in the day, would come in with the Dallas office. And whenever Andre came to town, the first thing that would come through the door that you knew Andre had arrived was a gigantic ice chest full of beer and wine. And Bronco and whoever would carry the ice chest in, and then Andre would come in from behind. And that was it. Andre would sit, but Andre would always be moving on to whatever the next town was in Dallas. Andre didn't have the opportunity a lot of times to stay, but the only time that I knew, oh, fuck, man, it's where the Flamingos were. I'll find out for you by the end of this. I'm texting somebody right now.
Carlos says, we've always heard about how Andre enjoyed his drink. And we've also heard how Bruce was a fan of the wacky tobacco. Did Andre and Bruce ever partake together?
No, we did not. I don't know that Andre was a big fan of the old wacky tobacco. And I wasn't about to be the one to find out. Andre liked to drink. If I was around Andre in the bar, I drank with Andre. And you drank until he would let you go or you passed out.
David wants to know, what was the most you ever witnessed Andre drinking in one sitting? Maybe you don't remember the number of beers or beverages, but maybe you remember the story. We were at so-and-so.
I remember a TV taping and Andre ordering 40 vodka grapefruits.
Like not one at a time, just starting.
No. This was at last call.
Okay.
So this was after we'd been sitting there for a while and they did last call and he ordered 40 drinks and then asked for the ice on the side. And it was Andre, Pat, Vince may have been there. I was there. Arnold Skolin. And maybe 1 or 2 others. But I had been drinking with him all night long. And then it came time to go, and I'm ready to go. No, we got more, 40, you know. And I don't know who drank them all, because I tapped out. I begged for mercy, and he wasn't real happy with that, but he let me go.
You got to live.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of like a father being disappointed in their son. Like, I'm done with you now, type shit.
Mike wants to know, Andre's drinking is now legendary. Was Andre's drinking ever a problem for Vince? Was he ever unable to perform? Does Bruce have any fantastic Andre drinking stories?
Well, there was one that we told the other day about, with Pat Patterson, where Andre had passed out, and they had to put the tablecloth on Andre and just left him in the middle of the lobby of the hotel because they couldn't move him, and he wasn't getting up, and nobody else was going to stay up. I think one of the other was Andre had been out all night, and Bobby Heenan tells the story of traveling with Andre during that time, and Flair almost killed him, but before that, Andre almost killed him with the drinking, because Andre would get in the first class and he would sit there and go, Bobby, you like vodka? Bobby like, yes, I like vodka. You like apple juice? Sure, I like apple juice. Ever have vodka and apple juice? And he's like, no, man, it doesn't, just for whatever reason, doesn't sound good. He goes, we try. Vodka apple juice. And the flight attendant brings them the vodka and the apple juice and shit, and Bobby doesn't like it, but Andre goes ahead and drinks it. And just because he started it, he finished it, and he kept drinking vodka apple juice, and I guess it didn't set well with him. And they come out, and as Bobby Heenan tells the story, they're standing on one, like on the side of the street on the curb, and there's a couple lanes of traffic, and then on the other side of the other lanes of traffic is another like island and curb and shit, and a taxi cab. And Andre is trying to hail the taxi cab, and he goes, man, he says, all you saw was Andre raise his hand and go, taxi. And then the next thing you saw was, and Andre puked across 2 lanes of traffic, like all the way to the second island. He said it was unlike anything he had ever seen. And the cars going by came to a screeching halt as Andre puke was smeared all over their fucking windshields and shit. And Andre just looked down and goes, uh-oh. Bobby's like thinking he's going, uh-oh, because he smeared puke all over these fucking cars. And what are they going to do? A giant just puked on you. Well, what are you going to do? And he goes, I got some on my shoe. Andre was so saying, he goes, I looked down and sure enough, on the fucking Herman Munsters, he's fucking puked a fucking buffet full of food and fucking vodka and apple juice across all these cars. But he had one tiny spot on his Herman Munsters, and he was upset.
What is a Herman Munster?
His shoes. You don't know who Herman Munster is?
I do that, but I didn't know he had a specific type of shoes.
Yeah, they're giant shoes, because Herman was...
I thought he wore like lifts. Like Andre didn't have lifts.
No, but...
I got you. Damn it. I'm busting your balls.
He's big.
Oh, copy.
So they're Herman Munsters.
So did Andre... Was he ever unable to perform? Did Vince ever feel like he needed to get involved?
No, never. Andre, I don't think Andre... Well, he was, but... I was going to say, I don't think Andre was an alcoholic, but I think he drank all the time to kind of cover the pain. But Andre didn't drink in excess to the point of getting drunk really until after his matches and shit.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.